Hi everybody, Brian Hooton here, fired up as usual. Got one thing for you today, the most important thing for you and your children. Okay, if you have kids, raise your hand. I've got a 4-year-old. Nothing is more important to me than the health of my 4-year-old, than letting her reach her potential. I want her reaching goals, not because of me, but certainly not in spite of me, if you catch my meaning. I want to provide her with those opportunities to be great, to be as great as she wants, to do and change the world how she wants to, how she sees fit, what she's called to do. We all want that for a child. We don't want a sickly child. We don't want a child with ADD. We don't want a child with asthma that goes to the hospital, that has no immune system. We all want a healthy child. How do you do that? The one thing that's the most important is the flow of their nervous system. You can feed them right all day long. If their spinal cord is not working properly, you can have great genes, but if their spinal cord is not working properly, none of that's going to matter. You've got to get that thing flowing. And a child doesn't have a way to tell you that. It's not like they're going to have neck pain. They could have headaches, I guess, but most of them don't, that have a problem in their spine. Now, what's our term? What's that thing that what's our word that we use to describe a problem in your spine? Subluxation. Here's an example of this is a 6-year-old boy. Okay, and he's got, you see that curve in his neck, he's looking off to the left. That is a fairly healthy spinal cord. It's not perfect, but just for the example I'm going to show you, that's a healthy looking curve. Okay, that's what you want. That's what you want for your children. That's what we're supposed to have. Every textbook I've ever seen, and you know, my background is actually in physiology, which isn't just anatomy, but how the body functions. Every picture I've seen of a healthy spine, you're supposed to have that curve in there. Okay, now here is his 7-year-old brother. So on the right there, that's a 6-year-old boy. On the left there, that's his 7-year-old brother. What's missing in the 7-year-old's neck? Obviously, the curve is missing. That's an example of what we call subluxation. And in brief, what that does is the bones are now choking the spinal cord. So if you cut off the spinal cord, everything dies. Well, if the bones are now stretching and compressing the spinal cord, what's happening to the body? Now here's an MRI of a healthy spinal cord, and you see that curve in there, everything flowing. Here's an MRI of a stretched spinal cord, of one that has no curve in it, that's subluxated. Look at this. I'm going to circle here where you can clearly see the spinal cord getting compressed. This guy came in with no pain. No pain, but his body completely sick and shut down. So let's get these MRIs away. You see the similarities here. Here's a 6-year-old on the right. Here's a 7-year-old on the left. The 7-year-old had no pain, no neck pain, no headaches or anything like that, but he was shorter than his brother. His growth hormone wasn't working as it was supposed to. He was thin, he was sickly looking. They had him tested, and his growth hormone wasn't nearly where it was supposed to be. That medications for that, for ADD, for behavior problems. He was behind in school. That is his problem. You can't function at 100% with a blocked spinal cord. So fortunately, one of you people sitting in my office went to this family, and this is what they said to him. Said, listen, and we'll just say the dad's name is Johnny. Say, listen, Johnny, you've got to get your children checked. This sounds like a typical case in Dr. Hooton's office. Now, if you had a sick kid, wouldn't you want somebody to say that to you? Of course you would. So that is a typical case. I mean, we get very few people actually in pain. Although people come in with pain, they certainly get well. Most everybody that comes in here, you talk to the people you're sitting next to, it's cancer, it's weight, it's heart disease. It has nothing to do with pain. It's all about function and getting your body working right. So somebody said something to the dad of these two boys. He brings him in. He sees this picture of his 7-year-old son, and he just started weeping, knowing he knew something was wrong. So fast forward several years, these pictures were taken in 2013. The older one is now caught back up in school. He stopped getting in trouble. Over the first few months of his adjustments, he started sleeping better. His behavior completely changed. He's now a happy kid growing up. He's going to be a teenager looking forward to function. Doesn't take drugs anymore. Doesn't rely on a broken healthcare system. What if that, back at 7 years old, what if that's your child at home? What if that was your niece or your nephew? What if that's your cousin? What if that's your mom or dad? What if it's your brother or sister? Go get them. At least tell them We'll make it easy to get them in here. We have programs to onboard them, to show them what's going on, but you've got to tell them. You have got to tell them. All right? We're always going to be after you to do that because, quite frankly, we don't have $1 trillion drug budget. Just watch the TV. There's drugs for everything, and they have $20 million in the bank for advertising. I've got you. We have to be the change and then go change the world. Go speak it out. Speak the truth. You never know, but go tell them. If somebody's sick that you know, at least just step in, interrupt them. If you care about people, which you do, obviously, compassion mandates interruption. You go interrupt their lives and say, look, I've got a place over here where your case is typical. That's typical for Dr. Hooten's cases. Why don't you go see him? And then tell my team, we'll make sure they get in here easily. As always, remember who you are. Remember what you were called to do. Help us change the world. Be the change you want to see. Together, we'll make a huge difference. The next 50 years are going to be awesome. Let's make sure you're reaching your full potential. We love you, and thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of such an awesome experience.